Ocean, home to some of the 34,000 signature species of fish that we know exist. Each one of them plays a unique role in the marine ecosystem. So how is it that we can remove some of them and maintain a healthy balance in the ecosystem? I'm Miranda Willis. I'm a master's student at the Rosenstiel School for Marine and Atmospheric Science at the University of Miami. And today, with these 5 degrees, I'm going to be talking about sustainable fisheries.
Okay, spoiler alert. We aren't going to cover everything. This is just a taster. Are you interested in just how many fish exist out there? Perhaps you want to help conserve fish populations. Then fisheries science, management, or policy could be right for you. To start any discussion on sustainable fisheries, I like to start with our subjects. Fish. The spatial distribution of different species of fish is highly variable throughout the marine environment. It's based on things like habitat, a coral reef, for example, food availability and competition for food, predation, and ocean currents. Even though 34,600 species and upwards of fish are known to exist, we don't know everything about each species. Sometimes, how much we know about the population of a given species is correlated with how important it is commercially. Take the magnificent bluefin tuna, for example. Bluefin tunas average 2.5 meters in length and can reach up to 4 meters. They have to keep moving to breathe and not sink. A 1-meter bluefin tuna can travel over 43 kilometers on average per day. This creates a constant flow of water over their larger than average gills and is called ram ventilation. Unlike most other fish, bluefin tunas are endotherms, the same as us humans. This means they're able to regulate their own body temperature. Their torpedo-shaped body, along with other morphological traits, make them extremely hydrodynamic and one of the top predators in the ocean. They're also one of the most commercially valuable species, making them a popular industrial fishing target. Different scales of fishing exist. Industrial fishing is fishing on a large boat with technologically advanced gear like Persine nets, trawls, and long lines. Typically, industrial fishing involves large crews and the capacity to travel long distances from port for long periods of time. Large industrial fishing vessels and fleets tend to be owned by large corporations. Small-scale fishing is at the opposite end of the scale. It can include artisanal, tribal, and sustenance fishing. It typically involves fishing households instead of corporations. Smaller fishing boats and crews are prevalent in less developed parts of the world, but they exist in developed countries too. Small-scale fishers remain closer to shore, although fishers in some places are having to fish further away from shore to catch fish nowadays. They fish for shorter periods of time than industrial fishers, and they use additional gears including pole and line and gill nets. Small-scale fishers can catch the same species as industrial vessels, but they catch less because they have less capacity. However, there are more small-scale fishing vessels than industrial vessels. There are around 4.5 million fishing vessels in the world. How are there so many fishing vessels, I hear you ask? Fisheries subsidies are financial contributions by governments or public bodies to increase capacity, such as through low fuel costs, which enable businesses to make a profit where they wouldn't have otherwise. In 2018, $22.2 billion was provided in capacity-enhancing subsidies to the fishing industry globally. Subsidies can lead to overcapacity, which leads to overfishing. Overfishing is when too many fish are taken, preventing enough of the right size fish in a population from surviving to be able to reproduce and replenish the population sufficiently. The maximum sustainable yield, or the MSY, is the largest catch of fish that can be removed from a population if things like environmental conditions remain equal. A population of fish is said to be biologically sustainable when the amount of fish can produce the MSY. A stock is underutilized when there's room to catch many more. Fishing is under the MSY. Perhaps those fish are not as in demand as the bluefin tuna, for example. The world's marine capture fisheries are measured by abundance, or amount of fish. To understand fish populations, scientists carry out stock assessments. The stock assessment is crucial information for fisheries managers because it helps determine catch limits. And how can we fish sustainably if we don't know how many fish there are? This is the latest global estimate of the amount of unsustainable fishing of the world's marine capture fisheries. The majority is sustainable, but the fraction of fish populations that are overfished or unsustainable has increased from 27% in 2000 to 33% in 2017.
So there you have the bare bones of sustainable fisheries. Fish are part of a dynamic ecosystem which is subject to constant change from natural cycles as well as from human-induced impacts such as climate change, which brings with it warmer ocean temperatures, as well as illegal, unreported and unregulated or IUU fishing, which can affect food security, poverty and human rights. To understand fish populations in this context, fisheries science has moved to ecosystem-based fisheries management. This, coupled with movements towards creating a more just society, can help us to relieve and to manage pressure on our fisheries. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you out there in the world of sustainable fisheries.
Want to find out more? Check out these resources.